Okay, 160 years ago today, Union Cavalry was departing Athens, Georgia, still in pursuit of Jefferson Davis. They would make their way toward Lawrenceville, but I thought I'd show you a couple of these maps here. So somewhere around the 8th, 9th, they came out of Royston, made their way through Danielsville, and then got into Athens, Georgia. Now, one of the funny things on here is they originally put the river as the Oconee River instead of the Oconee River, and they crossed coming into town from that way. And a couple of notes, Little North River and Brush Creek. So if you were to look at, now let's go over here and look in this area coming out of Danielsville, and this is kind of the current day map. And if we take a look, let's go this way. Let's take a look at that. And coming out of Danielsville, right there over the rivers, and there's Brush Creek where they would have crossed. We can kind of change our transparencies and see coming into Athens. That's about the area they would have crossed it. On one side or the other of that swamp just above Mount Moriah Church Road in Madison County. And they make their way on down into Athens. Now, once they get into Athens, they get ready to roll out the next day. And, well, I probably missed one other piece you might be interested in. They did a kind of a sketch of downtown Athens according to where they were at. And there's Mitchell's Ferry, the roads to Watkinsville on that side, the road they came in on from Danielsville, and the road to Gainesville and Jefferson. So that's kind of how they sketched everything out. Now, 160 years on this day, they were heading out of Athens, and they would essentially go toward Winder, which at the time had been called Jug Tavern. So they come out of Athens and make their branches and turns, cross the ferries of the Oconee, and they skirt kind of north of Watkinsville, because you'll see the roads to Watkinsville are labeled here. Of interesting note on this one is they make a note of Ferguson's Pottery. Ferguson's Pottery still exists, and they've actually moved up toward Maysville. But at the time, let's grab this one. This is 1896 map. The railroad wouldn't exist at that time, so you can't necessarily go by the railroad. But sent the picture to Ferguson's Pottery, and they said, yeah, their ancestors settled in the 1840s in the area that would become Barrow County. So that would have been kind of over in this area. Now they're going to make their way out this direction on their way, and there's Winder, what at the time would have been known as Jug Tavern. So as we come out, they took a route on the Hog Mountain Road and came to Jug Tavern. So again, they come out the Hog Mountain Road and they come over to see Brush or Jug Tavern. This is essentially where Winder is. And they're going to make a turn and go toward what would eventually become the Auburn area. There's the road that goes off to Gainesville in that direction. So that's where they would have been. Here's all the family names if you're interested. And, take a gander at it. Have a good Saturday.